The Turku Open went down this past weekend. It was another one of the full Pro Tour events that happened in Europe. So not quite a full field, but...
Is that one in Finland? Is that where they were?
Turku? Let's see. MPO... Turku, Finland. Yes, sir.
I am literally a beast at geography.
Why don't you try to pronounce the course?
That would be... a little closer. That would be... Lovori.
There's more.
Frisbee golf pistol.
Why are you changing?
I don't know.
I have to get an accent in character.
Okay.
I was becoming UC.
So we had
pretty good
the No
accent.
Desmania Pito.
Niklas Antilla took down first James Proctor. Weird European name.
We really
there.
started off hot with first we made fun of all New York, and then I'm pretty sure I just offended all of Finland.
You did just offend a lot of people, but it's okay. I've got a lot of good
tried my
stuff.
best.
I got a lot of good stuff to say about this
Okay.
tournament, so we'll bring it back in.
Okay.
Niklas Antilla won, James Proctor second. Marty Villman. I listened for so long because I knew I was going to mess it up.
I'd like to...
Maori, I think is how I want to say it.
Maori.
So I'm a roll with it. Maori Villman. And then on the FPO side, we had Silva Saarinen take it down over Evelina Salonen in second and Henna Blomroos in third.
I'd like to claim... I'd like to crown James Proctor of the king. He's now the king of going all the way to Europe, taking the trouble, and then coming in second. I think he's done it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't the only one. I think... let's see.
There weren't a lot of them of Yanks over there, if you will.
Eric Oakley made the trip, came in 29th.
Oh, Eric.
I thought Clay
Yanks?
Edwards made the trip, came in 37.
That's what the British people call it. Yankees. Yanks.
I don't know if there's any other
Anyways.
U.S.
They
people
call
that made
all
the trip.
Americans Yankees?
That's like a nickname for us.
Don't know.
Interesting.
Silva Saarinen took it down, though.
Whatever.
Impressive win over Henna and Evelina. We talked about this last time, where the FPO, the field, is stronger because 2 of the best players, being Henna and Evelina, are also over there.
Yeah, boy.
And if you look at Silva's season this far, it was kind of just waiting for this to happen. Because if you look, she started at U.S. Women's was her first event of the year, 34th. Not great. Well, then she goes 23rd at Texas State. Okay, a little better. Then she goes 10th at Jonesboro. Now we're talking 9th at Music City. Okay, 4th at Champions Cup. Wow.
You're talking.
And then she went over and got 3rd at the Copenhagen Open, played 2 silver events back-to-back over the DGPT silver events, won both of those, and then just won. So she's literally went 34th and just slowly climbed her way up to now 3 wins in a row. 2 silvers.
I just really
one
enjoyed your
Turku Open.
exclamations.
Also-
Your exclamations were making me laugh.
Also, Silva
That's what I was
Saarinen
laughing
is a
at.
sick name.
Yeah.
So
It was a very solid performance out there for Evelina and Henna. It was a very classic way for them to lose. Evelina led the field in fairway hits, C1 in regulation and C2 in regulation, but lost to her putting.
that's shocking.
Henna basically led the field in all of the other throwing stats. Let me actually tell you what she led the field in here, because Henna led the field in scramble percentage and parked percentage, and she was right behind Evelina in the C1, C2. But here's the stat. Silva Saarinen gained 14.67 strokes putting on the field, and Evelina and Henna both lost over 1 stroke. So to Silva, who they lost to by 2 and 3 respectively, they lost 15 and 16 strokes putting.
That is tough.
So that's where it is. They were throwing the disc, great, better than anyone in the field.
That tells you they were throwing
Got
the
wrecked.
disc significantly
Well,
better.
Silva was hitting fairways. You got to give her flowers. She was 77% fairway hit, whereas Evelina was only 81 leading the field. But she just
C1 in reg.
it's a C1 in reg. Like Evelina Salonen had 76% of her holes. She was at circle 2 in regulation, but she was 0% circle 2 putting.
Fairways hit is also kind of whack because par 3s they can just hit the first tree and be in the fairway.
And circle 1x putting, she was 63%. So that's whereas Henna was 52% circle 1x putting. Like that's where it all came down. Like if you look at their average putt distance, Evelina Salonen's total putting distance for the entire weekend was 563 feet. Silva Saarinen's was 946 feet. So she was just like, that stat more so to me tells she was just making longer putts. Like her average putt was 17 feet, whereas Evelina's average putt was 10 feet. Her average putt was basically inside the bullseye.
Right.
Bullseye. Now,
Bullseye.
Evelina did gain 13 strokes on Silva tee to green, but it just doesn't matter when you're losing 16 putting.
Yeah, you just can't do that.
You can't do it.
You just can't.
But you can't. I mean, you got to give the flowers to Silva. She played well and she made her putts. Like she was 83% C1X, only missed 5 C1X putts, and 45% on the weekend circle 2.
That's really
which is
good.
crazy. I think it was mainly this round 2. She went 83% C1X
5
or
for
circle
6.
2, 5 for 6, with her long putt being 42 feet. Yeah.
wow, her longest putt was 42 feet. So she was just
right on. She was in that sweet spot.
That money C2 range. Why is there not more? I think. I wonder if anybody has when's the last time somebody won and lost more than one stroke to the field putting? I feel like that's
Evelina.
So
probably
hard to
both
do.
times she won this year.
But lost over a stroke to the
lost
field.
it. I don't know. Well, let's actually take a look.
That's what I would be curious to see if she's lost more than one stroke
Let's
to the field putting and still
go to
won.
her more recent win, Champions Cup, the major. Let's see here. View hole scores.
Stats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go stats. All Evelina when she won Champions Cup, she lost 2.7 strokes to the field putting.
Okay, well.
But that was Champions Cup.
Yeah, that might be an outlier. That might be an outlier.
Let's look at chess.com.
Putting was not anybody's concern at Champions Cup. Yeah, chess.com would be a better tell. It wouldn't shock me. I'd just be curious. It's crazy that she lost that many strokes at Champions Cup. That tournament was just keeping it in the fairway.
Let's see. View hole scores. And let's go to stats here. Evelina Salonen, all rounds. She lost 2 strokes in chess.com.
Never mind.
So both times Evelina's done it.
It can absolutely be done.
But she, holy frick, she gained 31.7 strokes tee to green at chess.com. She was gaining over 10 strokes tee to green per round at chess.com.
That's pretty significant.
To win by 5. That's wild. So, yeah, if you're gaining 32 strokes tee to green, you can lose 2 on the putting. Yeah, it's fine to lose 2 if you're gaining 32.
This game was never meant to be about putting, man.
That's crazy.
Old school disc golf, just throw it.
Yeah, that legitimately got me choked up. That wasn't like I'm sick. That was I saw that. I didn't believe it. That's crazy. Now, in MPO, the big story was the incredible final round of Niklas with the course record 12 under. Really, the big highlights for me here was he got his back 9 started on the front 9 with a crazy putt on hole 9. It was like this approach disc, almost a throw, but it was definitely a putt. He needed it to hyzer around a bunch of trees. If you haven't seen the highlight, you need to go at least look on
probably
Twitter.
Darn near. It was probably 90 feet.
No, it was less than that. It was because it actually surprised me. It looked really far, but when I looked at it this morning on his actual let me go to the scores and tell you what it was. It has it at 72. So never mind.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm thinking of his putt on 14, which was the Anheuser, I believe, was only 42 feet.
Well,
that one looked long.
That one looked long because he had to go from actually relationship him to the basket wasn't that far, but he had to go backwards and around something.
Yeah, but that putt kind of got things going here because he threw that and he couldn't even see the basket. It was just a crazy hyzer putt in, and then he just didn't really slow up. He ended up going 10 under through his last 11 holes.
Wow.
That round only rated 1043. Is that what I just saw?
Surely not. No, that's the event.
Oh.
That round.
Is it not that one up there next to his
1081.
PG?
1081.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, there's no shot. But he was down by, I believe it was 5 going into the back 9. But when he went 10 down through the last 11 holes, he just wore down Mari Vilman because he was in control. At the front, he was making shots he needed to make. He was throwing the disc well. But as Niklas was just doing stuff like that, he just chipped him away. And you saw the lack of experience being in, he's I believe Mari's won on some bigger stages, but it's a different story when you're going for your first Elite Series win. And you have Niklas chasing you down.
Stranger.
That's a whole different ball game, and you could see his confidence just get chipped away. To by the end, I mean, he looked like Rory McIlroy. He was just missing tap-ins. Hole 18, he had I believe it was a 15 or 20 footer that would have kept him tied for second. He couldn't win it anymore, but it would have kept him tied for second with James Proctor. And it was the basket kind of threw it out if I'm thinking of the right putt, but it still was a missed putt. And so he looked like a very solid player overall, though. It was good to see him again against a hot Niklas, because I think that's where last time we had Jesse Niemanen took it down and Connor discredited his victory. But here when we had Niklas, we've seen Niklas win at the Open at Austin, and we saw Niklas was hot. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't Niklas just kind of chipped around. I think he won at 24 under, 25 under, and got 12 under of it in the last round. And you could tell he got hot. And we know when he got hot, he's been good enough to win in a full Pro Tour event. So, for Mari Vilman to even hang in there, because he shot a respectable 4 under the final round. He got to 22 under for the tournament. It just, at the end of the day, when someone gets that hot, if you aren't locked in, and he let some things start to slip. It just slipped away from him.
So what are we weighing this Pro Tour out of from 0 to 1? 1 being it's a full legit win. Actually, 0 to 1.5, because I feel like we usually go to like 0 to 2. We'll just say like the most significant major win ever is something you would almost count as a double points.
So like a Worlds is like a 2, or USDGC is a
Right.
2.
A
Like
normal,
regular Pro Tour is like a 1.
Yeah, chess.com, 1.
1, but then there's some Pro Tours that probably get like 1.5 because it's like a full field.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know about 1.5, maybe like 1.2.
Hey, so on
Trevor,
that scale,
Trevor, consider this your warning. Don't hit the
don't hit
table
the desk
again.
anymore.
I'm gonna say it so much.
On that scale, where 2 is like a USDGC top win, I would put this specific Pro Tour 0.6.
0.6. What was, because like what would you have said the last one was?
0.6, 0.5. Because I mean, I think when Yese won, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Niklas and them were still there. It's just, here's the thing, right? Let's see if Statmando has their strength of. There's a woodpecker next door. Uh-oh. We waited too late in the day. They're about to start drilling through the wall. Let's see if Statmando has their like strength of field, because last time we talked about a European event, I want to highlight some things this European event did very well in a second. But last time we did it, we talked about strength of the field strength as if everyone just knew the stat existed and people thought we were just making it up. This is a Statmando, the official stats. They're owned by the PDGA. This is their strength of field is what we were using. So the Turku Open comes in at 13th, which below it, the Copenhagen Open is technically a little below it. But, I mean, to give you a reference, it and the Las Vegas Challenge they're pretty neck and neck. The Turku Open comes in a little bit ahead of Las Vegas Challenge, but it is at a 21.5 strength of field. The next closest Pro Tour was the Dynamic Discs Open at 46.9.
Over double.
So over twice as hard to win, statistically. That's not an opinion, that's stats.
That's
on paper.
not an opinion, that's stats.
Now, what is interesting is Champions Cup comes in at 63.2 because of how tight that field is, how like it's like invite only and everything. Waco is actually at 72.6. So the hardest Pro Tour to win this year statistically was Waco at 72.6.
Does that mean ratings are inflated
is
in
at
Texas?
21.5.
All Texas. Wasn't that one guy from Texas that like got like 1038 rated and never played again?
Something like that, yeah.
Ratings are easy in
But
Texas.
anyways, so that's the strength. So you got to take this on the chin. Like you got to, at the end of the season, will Niklas currently as we sit, does he have 2 Elite Series wins? Yes. Is he equal with Calvin Heimberg? No. Because you do have to factor strength of field. And like this is statistically an easier win.
Sure.
He can't change anything about it. He showed up. He played the course. He shot an incredible final round. Would he have beat Calvin Heimberg if he was there? Maybe. But there's no way to know. And that's the whole problem is you got to take something away because there's no way to know. He can't control who showed up and who didn't, but that still means they didn't show up. So it's still like if you read this field, like I said, you have Niklas, you have James Proctor, and then like if you go to other players down here, like you have a Jakub Simerad. I know that Laurie Lettinen, I know he's played some over here. You had Vino Makala was over there. Like there's guys that we've seen come over to the States and they were getting beat. Like Vino came in 29th. Eric Oakley, like I said, came in 29th. So like there's guys we've seen over here get beat. So it's not like the field was just like no one we've ever heard of, like Silver Lot, we've seen him. So you've seen these guys, but we don't have that much to compare it to. Is at the end of the day, that's the tough part. And when guys do go over there, when you have Niklas over here, he won. When James Proctor's over here, second. So, and James Proctor hasn't had that great of a season in the U.S. So you also have to factor things like that. And like his other best finish on the Pro Tour was 12th at Jonesboro. Everything outside of that's been outside the top 20 this season so far. So
it is what it is.
It is what it is. But there's nothing the player can do about it. It's just when we are digesting these stats, you have to factor that in.